Welkom Toroa, in uw gesprek van Jood. En ik zeg welkom Sindai in mijn eigen taal. En ook vanuit mijn voorouders heet ik die welkom in het gesprek. So I'll translate it for you. I just said to you, welcome to our talk. And I especially say welcome to you from my Frisian ancestors.
Kia ora, tēnā koe. Ngā mihi mahana ki a koe. Me ngā tangata o Friesland, me ngā tūpuna o Friesland. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. I've just offered greetings to yourself, to the Friesland people and to the ancestors of your land.
Thank you. So, I asked you to do a short talk with me because we're preparing for a Haka workshop in Friesland in the north. And it's actually not specifically in Friesland, but on the border of the 3 northern provinces. And I would like to tell you a little bit about that, because when I decided I would ask you how about doing a Haka in Friesland, I felt which area I wanted to do it. Or it was shown like, okay, if you're going to do it, it needs to be there. So I found this really nice place to organize this. And then I realized, oh, it's not actually in Friesland. It's actually specifically on the border of Friesland, Groningen and Drenthe, which is are the 3 northern provinces. And of course, in ancient time, Friesi lived there. But we will see what it will mean when we do the Haka. But I thought it was really special that I kind of decided or felt I should do it there. So I'm very curious what that will mean, but I'm looking forward to it. And when we talked, I asked you, can you find a date? And then you found a very specific date. You wanted to do the Haka in Friesland. And can you share something about that?
Yes, at the start, it's on the Matariki, the Māori New Year, which lasts 3 days, but it's the new year begins on the 14th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And Matariki is our name for the Pleiades, or the Pleiad, as you could call it, which was our ancient home planet, if you could call it that. But Māori, we were able to pepeha our journey down from there. So we can actually recite our journey and the vessel that brought us down and the mountain and the river, etc., on our way down to planet Earth, etc., etc. But that'll take too long.
Yeah, we'll do that later. Yeah.
But Matariki is when Pleiades disappears from our night skies in the southern hemisphere for 2 weeks. We call that the 2 weeks of silence. And that's when we celebrate our ancestors and celebrate our newly become ancestors, and time of reflection for the year that was, and the present, and the future year to come. And then we start building up with celebrations, because that's also the time to plant the crops.
I know we have a connection as Frisian people with the stars specifically. And personally, I'm starting to discover the connections of the Frisian people with the Pleiades. It actually popped up the last few weeks ago. So to me, it all feels like building up to this Haka workshop we're going to do with you. So I'm really happy and I'm actually honored that you picked this date for us to work together in a Haka and get this tribe feeling back for the Frisian people.
Well, I can probably explain it more in the meet and greet night.
Oh, I'd love to.
But we have ancient connections. My people and the people of a land we call Whenua Raro. Whenua is land, Raro means below. And I was particularly excited about it actually happening in Friesland because of its significance to me. Because my ancestors sailed all the oceans of the planet, and especially to here. And we have a very close relationship with those that we now call Belgian, Dutch, German. And I'm not the first Toroa to walk this continent. I'm the second. My Chipuna Toroa was the chief of our canoe. He actually sailed here, and what was exciting was that they first made landfall in Friesland. And I'm going back 1500, between 1,000 and 1,500 years ago, and even further back.
Yeah.
But this is before our time of permanently settling Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's from where we came from before New Zealand, our homeland of Hawaii.
So I'm really looking forward if we can feel this, if I'm able to feel this connection that you're describing from the first Toroa that came here and having you around. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to experience what will show up in our talk and in our meet and greet, and then of course in building the Haka. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I don't know if he was as grumpy as I am, but we'll see.
I think he's grumpy now. Sorry, I think he's grumpy now because it took so long before we met and organized this. Something like that, yeah. So we also have a very interesting theme that you offered and suggested to do for this workshop for 2.5 days, and I accepted it straight away. And later on, I realized what this theme to me meant, because you called it bury the axe. So in Frisian, we would say bedobje de bielen. And as we spoke about earlier, I had this experience that I wanted to do it. Oh, I want to do this in Frisian. I want to reconnect with the Frisian tribe. And, and I was like, yeah, if I do that, I'm going to exclude people who may have Frisian ancestors. And I'm excluding my other people in the country that I live in, the Dutch people. So I thought, okay, bury the axe is also, let's bring the Dutch and the Frisian together, and let's experience each other's language, because the oldest and closest tribe the Dutch people have are the ancient Frisi. And we feel excluded, but I think we should reach out and say, hey, join us. So I love your theme. Thank you.
Tahitanga, unity. That's what we need. I composed this haka for a very specific reason. It was when, and by the way, I don't care who's right or wrong, but when the Ukraine thing happened, I got very, very upset because women and children were being killed. And I haven't felt so much rage in a long time. Because in my ancient culture, I'm proud to say, in my ancient culture, there is not one story that exists from those times of rape or women and children being killed on the battlefield, because to my people, they were untouchable. And okay, admittedly, it's happening right around the world. So this haka is my actual call for peace, to bury the axe. No more blood, no more violence. Become a real warrior.
Thank you for sharing that and being so open to, because I can see and I can feel it too. This is very close to your heart. It's like,
oh yeah,
yeah. And I'm humbled also, because I think as Frisian people, we know the saying, lever dee or slaaf. This means we'd rather die than being enslaved, because we fight for our freedom. And we prefer to give our life to be free than to be a slave of someone else. But this is such a strong energy still, I think, still in the Frisian people, that nowadays it's out of context of when it started, when it rooted. And I think because it's out of context, it may be a bit too destructive energy. It needs to be guided again into the right energy of the power that's in there. And it's not to destroy, it's to protect and to make a safe and sacred space for who we were and who we still are in relation to other tribes in a peaceful way. So
yes, and this, sorry.
No, it's beautiful. Just go on. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, yeah, these energies that are generated, they're very powerful energies, of course. And with the workshop, well, then it's because I do what we call raranga, which is the weaving of everybody's energies into one energy, and then I can hold them for the whole workshop.
Mm.
And a tribal environment is created where everybody shares the strengths and weaknesses, etc. And it's a place of safety. And that's where, if we can generate these energies to the max and then refocus them into something positive, and believe me, magic happens. And that's what I'm all about. To get away from the negative. And the second part of this Haka is women, the men with the women responding, and then it's the women with the men responding. But the women are the ones who actually issue us the wero, the challenge, to plant the seed and nurture it to watch it bloom. Because this Haka is a call for peace. I don't just teach a dance. I'm very serious, I'm very strict, and I demand perfection, and I get it.
Yeah. I know. But that's why I feel so good that you're going to come over here and you're going to do this, because we've known each other for a couple of years right now, and I know this is, you know what you're talking about. Huh? You're very experienced, and I feel very confident in your guidance. Otherwise, I'm very much aware of what kind of a field of power and potential we're going to work, and I would not do it if I would not feel safe, and I do. So
yeah, of course.
And now it gives me joy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And I had to think of something that I experienced in the meditation once, and I went back to one of my ancestors. I think it was around 15 or 1600, and I saw him standing in the field, looking to the sun, and this was about the time that he had to pick his last name. And this was, so that wasn't something that we did though in those days, but it was said that we needed a last name to identify yourself. And I just could hear him think in Frisian, waar zal mij zeggen waar ik ben? Who is going to tell me who I am? And he had to pick a name, and he did. But something changed there. And I want to go back to how he felt before, and the ancestors before that. I want to feel that, because I feel the same. Who is going to tell me who I am? I know who I am. That's what I want to experience. Yeah, I wanted to share that.
Yeah. Well, we have a saying, I know who I am. And I say to people, know who you are. Because our saying is, if I know who I am, I'll always find my way home.
Right, yeah.
And home is what we call turanga waiwai, where our 2 feet stand. No matter where we are on the planet, that's home.
Yeah. So let's take this with us to the preparation for the Haka, and make sure that when we finish the Haka and we found each other in a tribe feeling, that also on an individual level we know who we are, so we can connect from that energy out with one another. Yeah.
I'll be teaching Haka, and then it will be translated into your language. And of course, it can't be called Haka then, but I'd love you to come up with a powerful name for it in your language.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as I said, I demand perfection when the Haka is being performed, but I demand higher than perfection when your language starts, when you start doing it in your language.
Yeah.
Because then you show respect to your ancestors, your land, and to yourselves. And it can be beautiful, very powerful. I've had some beautiful workshops in Holland, because my grandmother and my elders always said the best speakers of my realm, of my language, are the Dutch speakers.
Ah.
Well, they said the Dutch and German speakers. And it's an opportunity to show you guys how powerful your language is, because it's all vibration and energy in the end. It will be, your version will be performed in a European style. And I'd love to see everybody turn up in your ancient dress, which, forgive my ignorance, but like maybe furs or leathers, and oh my God, I don't know if it's Fryske with the face painting. That's very powerful.
I'm going to prepare for that because I don't know, but I've met someone who has this information, and I'm also want to see if I can retrieve it through connecting with my ancestral lineage. But I do get some images already, and yeah, I think you're you're right. So yeah, we will need to do that to make it, give it more power even, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. It will be an experience.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing and making the time to have this talk with me. And we'll see each other soon.
Thank you. Yeah, look forward.
I will say to the audience, whoever is watching this video, tige tank voor je aandacht en ik zie je gauw weer. Thank you very much for your attention, and we will see each other really soon. Bye.
Yes. Kia ora koutou katoa.